thingy, so I can make part two of this video. So it was meant to be a longer video, but anyway, so I was saying it's the class system basically. Now it's all we look at the past and we learn from the past. Now, on the cusp of the Enlightenment, which was actually a remarkable thing for the world in general. It gave us things like Thomas Paine and the American Revolution. It gave us, Edmund Burke and the Protestant Enlightenment. It gave us many great things central to the philosophy world to come. It led to the Romantic movement and so on. Prior to that, things had to fall apart, and they did. This is where, and when as things were falling apart in pre-Enlightenment Europe, that's when you had the rise of things like the dandies, and you had the fellas wearing the powdered wigs in the royal courts, and the more effeminate and the more less masculine they were, wearing their white paint makeup, lipstick, and lead makeup and powdered wigs, the more demented they showed the world how they were, the aristocrats. Likewise, the women wore big skirts, cages, and had their hips like that narrow and stuff. And it eventually led to the revolutionary movement in Europe. And what happened to all these aristocrats? Well, look what happened in France, but it happened everywhere. A lot of them lost their power. And uh, for a while there, you had a kind of a restoration. Well, not the English Restoration, but like a reset, not their great reset, not a planned one, but an organic one. And you had like new minds and new ways of thinking. We had the development of the scientific revolution came out of that, and the depravity of that the upper classes, I only would say aristocrats, was demonstrated by the dandies and things like the mincing dandies. Well, what do you have today? What are all those fellas in dresses and stuff today? They're today's mincing dandies. And it's going to end the same way. It's not going to be pleasant. I'm not saying anyone wants this, but you cannot be going into schools where parents are just really, the priority is those parents to get their children educated so they can have a chance to actually survive in the world, while the parents are working arses off and having to pay babysitters and stuff, and they put the kids to school. And what does the school do? It has like a bunch of drag queens reading the kids stories. That's not education. It's you have like people saying things like on the lefties saying things like it's really important that preschool children learn about anal sex. What kind of fucking mind is that? What kind of fucking mind? But yet these people get money from NGOs and the government to cater to them. So they're self-destructive. Always remember that. This is what happens. The upper classes will destroy themselves. Eventually, there will be. All you have to do is look at your average left-wing activists. Eventually, they will go into a working-class neighborhood to call people racists, and they'll be. What will happen will be not pleasant. I can guarantee you. They'll probably they'll be eventually they'll be a load of them killed, something like that. Like Tarquin and Facna O'Finicon of the Workers' Revolutionary Party from Dalkey is in somewhere like Finglas going, racist, oh fucking right, oh racist, oh racist, oh, and he'll find himself getting a hammer through the skull, and that's going to happen. And I think deep down inside they know that. That's why they make sure that they call the guard and the police to be there to protect them in case the working class they utterly despise finally realise who their real enemies are, which they do all the time. But before that happens, it will just wear itself out. Remember, woke is a fad, woke is a trend, and all what happens to all trends and fads, they wear out. But if you try to force them on people long past their sell-by date, you will have a pushback, and that pushback won't be pleasant. It won't. You could have a situation where the pushback will happen, and you'll suddenly find all these college students are suddenly more interested in studying once again than in proving that there are 85 genders. Look, we live in an age where they're telling us they don't even know what a woman is. This is terrifying stuff for them because they're going against natural law. And when you go against natural law, you're absolutely in great danger. This is what the wokies don't understand, is that they're going against natural law. Just like the Aztec high priest cutting their hearts out, we're going against natural law. There's no correlation you can make between cutting the hearts out of a Mayan prisoner on the Pyramid of the Sun and improving the grain harvest or keeping a certain king from getting some disease, any more than injecting little children with a needlecraft that doesn't do anything other than make them sick is going to change the climate, change the weather. And that's, see, it's the same archetype. Now, lots of people are now aware of, for starters, you know the way in America they're trying to make out that there's all loads of people dying of, I can't pronounce it, fentanyl? Is it pronounced fentanyl or what that drug is? I can't, I forget how to pronounce it. That they're all supposed to be dying of. Oh no, these is a big deal in America because everyone's dying of fentanyl. I think that that's probably what you call it, needlecraft reactions, and they're blaming it on that. Whoa, did you see that? As soon as I mentioned that, the F drug, the F word, we'll call that from now on, the F drug word was associated, and I said it's almost, as far as I'm concerned, it's probably all the needlecraft reactions that my screen went dead. Did you see that? Wow, that's very fucking interesting. So anyway, yeah, that's it up now. You can't hide this from people anymore. All the Irish newspapers are all lit up with things saying when someone dies, a young person dies mysteriously. They all say the same thing. We know what it is. You know, this what's the biggest killer today? Suddenly, there's two diseases, two ailments. One is called suddenly, and the other one is called unexpectedly. That's what's killing everybody today. And when it's mentioned in the paper, and I'm going to stop mentioning it in the paper soon because it's getting uncomfortable. Unbelievable! It happened again. It happened again. Uh, so anyway, lots of the people who would be slagging us off and calling us, anti-science last year, all saying we all know what's killing all these young people. You're just not allowed to say it, and they all, that's, and you're seeing those kind of comments everywhere now. When you had Candace Owens, that's what made Candace Owens finally say that Bill Gates is the world's #1 bioterrorist, because it's undeniable now. There's a growing sense in society that all these sudden deaths are all caused by the needlecraft, and you're going to have they're going to soon wake up and see it's further than that. It's also causing the problems with the sky dye, and it's also the problem with the F word in America. I saw there's no one dies of an overdose in those numbers. Yeah, I know it's a dangerous drug and everything, but it's a very convenient. I'll just finish this off before it cuts off. They're hiding those drug overdose in America are needlecraft reactions. Skydive's needlecraft reaction, and all the suddenly and unexpectedly is needlecraft reactions, and they can't hide it anymore. And that's the purpose of these two videos. Just wait. I told you to wait during the Rona. It would be all okay in the end. Just wait. The pushback is coming. Even the barely sentient normies are actually waking up on this one subject. You cannot watch young people dying all around you and say it's a mystery, especially after the likes of what happened in the last 2.5 years. Take care of yourself. Love yous all. Sanguine Gnosis. We are going to ride this out, and hopefully not too many more people will lose family members due to suddenly and unexpectedly ever again. Thank you. Goodbye. God bless. Love yous all.